After what we put out for the past couple of days, it wouldn't surprise me if we've got some very heavy manipulation going on right now. All right, I put up a stream a couple of minutes ago and talked for 2 minutes, and there wasn't one notification. So obviously they're not too happy with the content of our discussion. But once again, this is Joe Imbriano, P.O. Box 4121, Fullerton, California, 92834. And Joe Imbriano 777 at gmail.com. And I do need your email addresses. Like I said, I'm compiling an email blast list that's going to go live here pretty soon with all the content that we can't put on the video screen. Folks, I want you to understand that we are the herd, okay? That's how we're looked at by these people that have everything set up. You know, I've had my share of agriculture in my lifetime, folks. And, you know, I've raised animals, I've grown gardens, I've fished, I've hunted. I've been out on the 14-mile bank in a 16-foot inflatable with a 10 horsepower and a meat grinder on the back of it with a 12 gauge. And I think you can understand what the rest of that fishing trip entailed, right? And a 38, all right? You know, folks, I understand animal husbandry, and I understand eugenics, and I understand that just about everything they're doing to us is factory farming. We are the herd, folks. And, you know, it's no mystery that what they've done with this sports program called The Herd, as they put this big yellow X brand right over the United States and claim The Herd as being theirs, it's very fitting because they treat us like a bunch of cattle, because they look at us as human cattle. And in a business sense, we are their chattel, right? I mean, it's unbelievable when you start to wake up to what we've been born into, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of harvesting going on from our existence. Our energy, our creativity. But one of the biggest commodities for these fallen creatures that rule over us, that is the goal of their factory farming, isn't money. It isn't our slave labor. It's our energies, folks. They're harvesting our fear and the perversion and the inversion of God's creation. You see, the satanic and demonic realm does not feed on love. It does not feed on joy. It doesn't feed on peace. It doesn't feed on long-suffering. It doesn't feed on trust. It doesn't feed on hope. It doesn't feed on wisdom. It doesn't feed on beauty. It doesn't feed on creativity. It feeds on the exact opposite of everything I just mentioned. The demonic realm feeds on the diametric opposition of the spirit, folks. And they've got us literally on a factory farm, and they've got different stalls for us. They're called cities, and they've got different feeding troughs for our bodies. They're called restaurants and grocery stores. They've got different troughs for our minds. Those are called television stations and networks. And they've got different feeding troughs for our soul. Those are called the religions that are false constructs of God's purpose and God's plan. And what they've done is they've taken a little bit of truth and mixed in a heck of a lot of lies and used it as a control mechanism to subvert any efforts at waking up and resisting the electronic barbed wire fence they've put around this factory farm. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you that all we got to do is pull the plug on their power, and they ain't got no electronic wire fence around this factory farm anymore. Because you see, all we got to do is shut them off. You see, when you go back thousands of years, and you look throughout antiquity and all over the world, the human sacrifice was one of the biggest ceremonial rituals anywhere going. The reason it was so effective is because of the amount of power that it withdrew from the demonic realm. Have a tremendous amount of fear and suffering. The demonic realm is conjured up from the abyss below, in a spiritual sense, kind of like those sharks showed up when we had the meat grinder going off the back of my buddy's inflatable Avon out at the 14-mile bank, when we were grinding up mackerel and making a chum line, and this feeding frenzy of sharks arrived, right? Now, I was really dumb to go out there. Fortunately, they were blue sharks, folks, and they don't really have any teeth. But I think if a great white showed up, I'd have been in trouble. Because it probably would have taken a chunk out of that Avon I was sitting on with my buddy, right? Maybe it would have thought that little 9.8 Mercury outboard was the leg of a seal or something, right? My point is that fear is what they want from us, and perversion is what they want from us, because it basically staffs the kitchen and fills the trays at their buffet. Why do you think all these churches had spires on the top of them? As the fear from the false doctrine was channeled out the roof. Now they've just turned them into social clubs, and they put cell towers up there, which basically allows for the mass transmission of programming and propaganda that induces more fear than ever before, right? Folks, it's a herd, okay? And don't let them brand you. Don't let them inject you. Don't let them indoctrinate you. Don't let them manipulate you. Don't let them take away your will to live, folks. What they've done is they've created a system that begins at birth. It begins with the IQ reduction from the umbilical cord clamping, blocking the placental transfer of, and resulting in asphyxia and oxygen deprivation of the newly born child as they inject the child with a vitamin K shot that affects the viscosity of the blood of the newborn. 20 points off the IQ in the first 10 seconds of life, folks. Right? And then it goes on with more vaccines, and then, you got wireless monitoring, artificial light everywhere. And it goes on with more vaccines and, more stuff in the food as they just slam everybody into these cattle stalls, right? And get you ready for the type of harvesting they want. Okay? I'll tell you, some people are into horror movies. Some people are into sitcoms. Some people are into watching the news. Some people are into politics. Some people are into X-rated stuff. Some people are into rap music. Some people are into pop music. Some people are into punk music. Some people are into rock music. Some people are into jazz music. Some people are into classical music. And some people are into just overtly satanic heavy metal music. I know a pastor that says he loves heavy metal. What does that tell you, right? Listen, folks, what they've done is they have managed to make a channel for every forte and proclivity you can imagine, and they've maximized its efficiency at producing the desired outcome of fear, corruption, and perversion. Every song that's been written, every lyric that has been cast into the die onto the sheet, every single script that's been written has got an agenda in it, folks. None of the stuff is clean. And you know, the fish that are born on the fish farm in the pond with another 1,000 other fish swirling around in the slime and the fungicide and the pellets, it has no idea that this isn't normal. It just thinks that living in that pond is what life is all about. That's what they do with us, folks. What they have done is they have literally forced us to keep having children born inside this pond with no way out and no knowledge of the fact that they're in this pond to begin with. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not their herd, we are not their cattle, we are not their chattel, okay? It's time you understand that the way to break free from this system is to invoke the name and the power of Jesus Christ over all the systematic indoctrinations that lead to bondage and servitude for mass production of perversion, fear, and the proliferation of bloodshed. That is what the system is designed to do. It's to inflict harm and misery and maximize their level of control over the rest of us. You know, the thumbnail for this video, ladies and gentlemen, is an elevator. It's an elevator that I took a picture of at a hotel. And it's got that little, you know, the weight of the cattle in the cart, right? And it's got the Illuminati pyramid on it. Some numbers. I'm at Walgreens right now in Buena Park, and the flu shots are now available. And the deal of the week is Diet Coke, 3 12-packs for $12. That's right. And across the street, there's a dentist and a donut shop. I love the reality that they have put us into this fish pond, and they feed us a bunch of poison pellets and shower us in fungicidal slime, right? That's what they do on the fish farms. What do you think they're doing to our society, ladies and gentlemen? Everything on the television is filth. Everything on the news is lies, and everything in the movies is an expose of what they're about to do to us. Everything in the churches has been inverted. They've taken the power of Jesus Christ, the victory over the grave, the power and wisdom and discernment and courage of the Holy Spirit, and turned it into a social club, membership rolls, donation festival, and you know, just total psychology and a little entertainment, something to make you feel good, something to make you feel like you're part of something, so you'll come back next week and give them more money. And a little pity trip for the hardship that maybe the guy's going through because he can't find a job, right? Because he's too busy sleeping all week and spending your money on raising his family and not yours, right? As you're forced to work 3 jobs, and he's going out to lunch with his buddies every week. You know, my wife works because, let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, in order to live in a house in California and anywhere anymore, and to afford the medical insurance and afford the car insurance and afford the electricity and the water and the food and you know, a pair of shoes once in a while and you know, the things that you need to survive, you got to work 3 jobs now. Well, my wife, you know, sometimes she'd get out of work and go have lunch with, you know, one of her friends, and she'd always see the people from the church having lunch all the time, right? You know, you know, they don't work, folks. The people in these churches don't work. They just collect your money on Sunday and count it on Monday, right? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, they're out spending it. So stop giving it to them. The churches are part of the control mechanism to keep you on this cattle farm. Have you ever heard a sermon on how they're harvesting all this crap from us? And why they used to use human sacrifice in the old days to conjure up the demonic realm, and that the power transfer from the demons go to these psychopaths running these religious ceremonies back in the day? That's right. You won't, because the churches are all part of the control system, folks. You got witches and warlocks on the pulpits. You got witches and warlocks on the game shows. You got witches and warlocks as anchors in the news. And you have demonic entities running the studios. I kid you not, folks. These people that run things are so evil, you have no idea. You know, There's this big story like, oh my gosh, ABC knew about Epstein, 3 years ago and didn't release it, didn't cover it. I mean, come on. You think the Disney Corporation that owns ABC is going to tell the truth? Do you see what they're doing to children? Just go to the Disney Channel. Go to the ABC Family Channel. Just turn on, what's her name? Ellen DeGeneres and all this other stuff. All the Oprah and all these New Agers and weirdos. Pushing all this crap, right? All these inversions of what God intended, right? And we're supposed to accept that the same company that runs all these inversion and perversion parties is going to tell us the truth about a bunch of pedophiles that run everything? Are you freaking kidding me? Just go to Disney666.com and look at Disney, folks. Look what they're all about. You don't have to go far. Folks, we are the herd, okay? They look at us like we're their cattle. And, herds are designed to be corralled and culled and ultimately carved up and cooked. They don't have plans for a rosy and bright future for you and your children. That's why they're mandating vaccinations and they're putting 5G systems everywhere to track and trace every ounce of tequila you put in that blender on Friday when it's time for the margarita. Every single time you put a slice of that glyphosate-laced, brominated vegetable oil flour concoction called an English muffin into your Wi-Fi toaster, they're going to know how much hydrogenated cottonseed oil with fake butter flavor called margarine is going to go on that metallic spoon and knife that they've given you to spread it on, folks. The 5G is going to know everything about everything. Because on a factory farm, everyone gets a tag and they're all weighed and their growth is measured and, they're fed a steady diet of antibiotics, prophylactic antibiotics, and all kinds of things in the feed. Just like they give us glyphosate and aspartame, disodium guanylate, sodium erythorbate, high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated cottonseed oil, partially hydrogenated rapeseed oil, monosodium glutamate, hydrolyzed proteins, autolyzed yeast extract, and all kinds of other nice natural compounds coming fresh from a chemistry lab into your bloodstream as the metallic nanoparticles rain down from the sky out the backs of these KC-135s, and then they get hit with all the radio frequency emissions come from your smart meter, your deck phone, your Wi-Fi router, your video game console, your television, your telephone, and your wireless ding-dong opener, your wireless doorknob, your wireless doorbell. And then you sit there bathing yourself in blue light, watching the sorcery on the satanic, electronic, psychotronic, black scrying mirror, a devil-worshipping Ouija board called a Hell-O-Vision that they call a smart TV that's making you into a freaking idiot! As you microwave the Hot Pockets and suck down the bonbons, and you wonder why nothing fits anymore and your husband's at the strip club. Do you see what they're doing to you? This is evil, folks. Go to the grocery stores on the low shelves where the kids can see it's all sugared cereal. On the top shelves where mom can see it's all Betty Crocker and Duncan Hines with all these romanticized swirls of frosting. In the back of the store, and in the middle of the store, there's rows and rows of beer for the men. That's right, all the hops that feminize the men, and all the carbonation that dissolves their bones, and all the accelerants for the fermentation process that literally lobotomize these sports-loving herd members, right? And so why do you think the controllers just take this this logo and stamp it right on Fox News and have these 5 geographical regions present on the corners as they yell, as they laugh at us? And Bono's got the Joshua tree embossed all over these concert screens. And go to the FULLERTONINFORMER.com, and you want to see the most incredibly freaky thing in your life? Go to the FULLERTONINFORMER.com and look at the front page and the article I did on YouTube and Ricardo Arjona, or Arjona, however you want to pronounce him, and you look at the incredible revelation of what the Joshua Tree album is all about, folks. Bono is the front man for the Cattle Herder, and his lasso operation involves mind control through music. All right, and you know he's a sellout to the Satanists. He's not a Christian. Let me tell you who you two should have been. There was a group called The Alarm back in the early 80s that had a better sound, a better message, better lyrics, a better vibe, better morality, and just all around a better mojo than Bono and his henchmen. But The Alarm was squeezed out and not given the playtime, the airtime, and the fame time, right? Because we were given, just like they took Bob Marley out and gave us Michael Jackson, they took The Alarm out and gave us U2, right? That's what they did, folks. That's what they did. They're still doing it. Now Bono's in front of the, speaking at the UN, and, he's the high priest of the throne of Satan. He's one of them. He's one of the guys that sticks his head out, always walking around with those glasses, blocking out the blue light, right? Known for years about it, but not you. Your kids get to stare at it, right? In school, at home, at their job, right? In the car, the train, the plane, the automobile, the aeroplane, the cruise ship, staring at that blue light on the phone, right? On the TV set, on the screens, on the video game monitors, right? On all the video games. What's the Fortnite, right? Right, what is that? The blue light special, right? I've had enough. I'm not their cattle, okay? I'm not their chattel. And I'm going to tell you something right now, folks. None of us should continue accepting this. The music industry is all part of the system to spellcast and control and pervert and corrupt us. Every single thing that ever made it had an agenda behind it, or they killed them off if they made it big on their own merit. You mark my words, that is exactly what happened. And you look at what come out of Laurel Canyon in the 60s and the 70s, the pedophile rings that were going in the tunnels under Hollywood Hills, right? You look at all the guys that come out of Laurel Canyon, all these artists come out of there, the parties up there in the hills, right? You got the guy running, the admiral that was on the ship that got the Gulf of Tonkin incident going with the Vietnam War, right? Remember that guy? You remember that guy, folks? Do you remember him? Do you know who I'm talking about? That's right. And what does his son put together? What did he put together? Think about what he put together, folks. Think about it. Think about what his son put together. He wanted to break on through to the other side, right? Right? What else did they do back then? What else did they give us back then? Think about it, folks. That's right. Jim Morrison's father was the admiral, and he was the commander of the ship that got us into the Gulf of Tonkin into the Vietnam War. And he got everybody tuning in and turning on and dropping out. No, that was Timothy Leary, but hey, they're all connected, right? Because it was a culture of drugs and drunkenness and child molestation, because that's what it was. It was hell on earth for those kids, folks. And I've seen how they treat the human cattle, folks. I've seen it. Because I've seen the videos. I've seen the videos of what went on in the Vietnam War, and I saw where those 18-year-olds were walking around in mud and blood in the jungle, thousands of miles from their home, when they were literally fresh out of high school, killing people, murdering people, spraying napalm all over innocent people, burning up children's skin and blowing people's heads off and raping and killing. For what, folks? It was a satanic ritual, right? Put me on the speakerphone at the grocery store. Go down that middle aisle and look at it. It's nothing but a glorified liquor store. Go to the checkout aisle. Put me on the speakerphone. Turn it up. Go to the checkout line and look at all the perversion in the magazines and all the garbage crap, plastic surgery, facelift, garbage and all the aspartame poison gun and the tooth rot candy, right? All the stuff to make your teeth rot out, make you fat, make you stupid, make you unhappy, right? All the beef jerky sticks that'll mummify your intestines, right? That's the frickin' grocery store. That's part of the punishment for living on the factory farm, ladies and gentlemen. You think it's funny? It's not funny. You think it's funny when an 8th grader weighs 200 pounds and they're addicted to the flavor enhancers in the Cheetos? Do you think it's funny that the chemists that work for the bakeries are making different blends for different ethnicities to hook and addict them, to make them repeat customers, and in turn creating obese children? Do you think it's funny how they fatten up the cattle? Do you think it's funny what they're doing to us? I don't. I don't. I don't think it's funny. And if you don't like my rudeness, you need to understand why I'm coming out with it like this, folks. Because this is called shock therapy, okay? We've got to wake up. And we've got to wake other people up. They are literally treating us like cattle on a factory farm. Think about this for just a minute. The minute you come out of your mother's womb, they clamp the lifeline to the placenta that's been feeding you blood and nutrients and oxygen for 9 months. Before you even take your first breath, they're oxygen depriving. And then comes this needle from some idiot on an H-1B visa called a nurse who has no clue what they're doing, because they just got over here and they've been told what to do, and they don't question anything because they came from a communist country, and they're just glad to have a microwave and an air conditioner and a television set. So the nurse gets this injection of synthetic vitamin K and rams it into the eye of the baby, right? And deep into the bloodstream. And all of a sudden the baby will convulse for just about 2 seconds. And you will see how the oxygen deprivation from the umbilical cord clamping and the thickening of the blood instantaneously results in a shock to the child. And once that is accomplished, they take that child that's been living in a 98.6 degree amniotic jacuzzi, and they take it and run it underwater, and it's never felt the touch of anything on it except for the liquid, and all of a sudden it's got these rough hands from the H-1B visa holding nurse that just got brought over here and can barely even speak English, as she's rubbing the baby down with those nitrile gloves under that water, and that baby is undergoing more trauma-based mind control. And if it's a boy, then they take it in the other room and then cut the foreskin off of its penis. We haven't even left the hospital yet, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even left the hospital. Then the baby goes home and it comes back for its well visit, and they've got another rounds of injections for the baby, right? Ladies and gentlemen, do you think I'm kidding? Do you think I'm being rude? Do you think I'm being obnoxious? Folks, this is a serious problem. These are serious problems we face, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot sit here and let them brand us and our nation like they own us, like we're their cattle, like we're their chattel, like we are, you know, animals, like we're farm animals to be effed with, okay? That's what they're doing to us. Look at the cartoons. Look at it, folks. Look at all the stuff they got going on. Look at the movies. Look at all the stuff they're doing to us, folks. Look at it all. I'm telling you the truth, folks. I'm telling you the truth. And you want to know why I tell you the truth? You want to know why I tell you the truth? Because nobody else will. You know, you think you're going to get the truth in the church? You think you're going to get the truth in seminary? You think you're going to get the truth in college? You think you're going to get the truth in high school? You think you're going to get the truth in junior high? They're too busy teaching junior high kids how to fist each other and use sex stands right now, and they're teaching elementary children how to masturbate. You think I'm kidding? I go to the board meetings. I've got the video. The whole goal, folks, is to keep us under their thumb and to factory farm the fear and perversion and our body parts. And of course, in the process, they're going to, you know, suck off our creativity and all of our labor and our wealth and the material possessions. But to be honest with you, when those that print the money, they don't need the money, folks. See, that's the thing I always run into with all these people that watch TV. Like, oh, well, you know, you got to follow the money. No, you don't follow the money. You follow the spiritual dimension. Because that's what these people have, folks. They're sick in the head. If there are good churches out there, my hat's off to you. I've never found one. I've never found one good church in my life. They're all the same. And I've gone to a lot of churches. They all got an angle, and they're all looking to pick your pocket. And they're all set up to put you to sleep. Let me tell you something, folks. There's a high school in Fullerton, California called Troy High School. And a bunch of people on my street work at that school. They're teachers and, you know, directors of departments. And then we got people that are, you know, administrators for, you know, the college district. And, you know, all of these government employee hacks that are totally fine with all of the secular humanism and the perversion and the microwaving delivery system in these mind control facilities called schools. But, you know, there's this school where there's 3,000 kids getting driven to school every day, and there's a sidewalk out in front of the drop-off, and I used to stand out there and hold up the banners trying to warn the parents that, hey, this place has sheet metal walls, and they're going to put Wi-Fi systems in here with, you know, these super high-powered systems, and these kids are going to get sterilized from this crap. Because Wi-Fi, if you keep the device in your lap, it's gonna burn up the ovaries in the girls. And you can go to WiFiDangers.com and you can read all about it, folks. But I stood out there on this corner for years, folks, and literally there's you know, thousands of cars that drive by this street every day. I used to read the school newspaper from this place, and you wouldn't believe the kind of liberal, mentally ill garbage they're teaching these kids, right? And I've never seen anybody from any church at any board meeting speaking out against the horrific, deviant, child abuse curriculum and physical abuse that's taking place in that environment of these pink fluorescent lights with these high-powered microwave systems being run in electronic sardine cans with sheet metal walls. I kid you not, folks, right? You know, all these churches, they're open for business on Sunday, but the pastors are nowhere to be found. All the kids are being taught that the earth is some spinning ball, that we came from rocks and monkeys and apes, that we're related to animals so that we can be treated like animals. And, you know, all the churches are silent, folks. And when the church does have something that proves God exists, they bring someone from NASA. Are you kidding me, right? Folks, we're not their herd, we're not their cattle, we're not their chattel. We've called out the spots, you know, Manhattan in the top right corner of the herd. The top left corner of the herd is Seattle, and potentially Miami in one of those little ancillary drawings to the left of it. And then the bottom left is Baltimore, and the bottom right is Las Vegas. Those are the targets, okay? Whether or not the third was the day, I don't know. It was put out there as it was, so hey, better safe than sorry, right, folks? But listen, if we know they're coming and we bake them a cake, they're guaranteed to flake because they don't want to be exposed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? They have plans to blow things up and blame the boogeyman so they can bomb the country back to the Stone Age. Anyone they want. All they got to do is blow something and say, oh, looky here, he did it. That's right. That's right. What they do is they carry out acts of terrorism, and then they immediately blame somebody for it. And then they use that as a pretext to go and invade and destroy the country and steal and kill and murder and rob and set up another factory farm, right? I don't think so, folks. I don't think so. And I'm not going to put up with it. You know why? Because God has called me to stand against this stuff. And you know what? Yeah, I agree with you. Of course, there's a lot more people watching this than they show. You know what? Put me on speakerphone and show the grocery checkout line attendees that this is what they should be watching instead of the Disney Channel. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to all understand something, folks. We need to get off of this factory farm plantation. And I'm not saying you got to flee your surroundings necessarily. You got to unplug that TV. You got to say no to these injections. You got to filter out the chemicals in your water. You got to look at what you're eating. You cannot just take everything at face value as being safe. All right? You got to question everything, trust no one, and do your homework. And be prepared for the worst and hope for the best, and pray fervently and incessantly in the name of Jesus Christ against the demonic realms, schemes and wiles and machinations. That's the facts, folks. All right. I need your prayers for my safety and for my continued perseverance in against these demonic entities that seek us harm. And believe me, they do, folks. You don't think there's a realm out there trying to get us? My goodness, turn on the television and watch the commercials. Look at what they're trying to get you to put in your mouth. Look what they're trying to get you to put on your skin. Look what they're trying to get you to bring into your house. Look what they're trying to get you to sit in and drive to work in. A rolling magnetic field, with Wi-Fi and all kinds of electronic motors with brushes and all these harmful resonance frequencies coming and bouncing around inside the metal. So you can get burned alive in the Tesla when the doors don't open and the battery catches on fire like that poor guy did, right? Folks, listen to me. Listen to me. There's a reason why things are hidden in plain view, and we talked about this yesterday. You need to understand. You need to understand. These people have to tell us what they're going to do. These people have to give us advance notice, and these people have to have our permission in order for them to be absolved of their sin, folks. And that's the beauty of their twisted religion, is it puts us at an advantage. Okay? It puts us at an advantage because we can figure out what they're doing and call it out before it happens and keep it from happening. And of course, that's right, it's called sigil magic. That's what they did with Apple's corporate headquarters. Go to WiFiDangers.com. You can see all about it, folks. You don't think the iPad's in? I've proven it. WiFiDangers.com, right? You can see the magical sigil that Apple put out in their landscape architecture plans for the corporate headquarters on the agenda. I'm not kidding, folks. All right, I've had enough. You've had enough. We've all had enough. It's time to go about our business today. Our daily lives await us. Get outside, get some sunlight. Go outside and listen to the birds. Stop for just a minute. Don't put your headphones on. I need you to go outside and listen to the birds and, look around at the butterflies. If it's snowing where you're at, I want you to look at the crystals falling and breathe that cold air through your nostrils and look at the beauty of the properties of water molecules, folks. Just be appreciative of what God has given us, and do not go along with the satanic inversion and mirror image of all that is good that has been turned bad by these people that serve the devil. In Jesus' name. Take care, folks.